Alrighty, what do we have going on today? So we have a second update here. Hopefully I do continue to upload every day, at least for this week. I won't promise next week, but the goal would be to complete the full week, giving you guys updates every single day here. But today we ended up closing CRWD for a 1% loss of our account here. So not a big loss so far in the month of August. We only have 5 trades. As of today, we did take a brand new one, which is A, ticker symbol A. So that's pretty interesting. But in terms of the current trade that we're in right now, this is what it's looking like. This is the trade that we entered yesterday. I made a video about this one. As a matter of fact, I sent out 4 stocks yesterday, which was DYN and RIX, and then the one that I'm currently in right now, also VOR. So all of them performed really good, as a matter of fact, except for the one that I entered in actually. So that's kind of bad luck, not gonna lie. I thought I was getting into the best one, and to be quite honest with you guys, from a technical perspective, I was actually getting into the best trade here, but that's just how the market is. Sometimes you'll get rewarded by trading bad setups, and vice versa. You'll even lose money when you trade good setups. So that's just the nature of the market. The goal is just simply not to fight it and go with the flow. So again, I only have 4 trades or 5 trades here in the month of August so far, and we're only down like 0.6% I think it is of my account, so definitely nothing major at all. 2 losses so far and then 1 winner. Hopefully these 2 that we're currently in perform well these coming days. So yeah, I'm just going to give you guys an update in terms of these current trades that I'm currently in. So today, RVMD here, it actually tried to move up nicely. Unfortunately, it just came right back down and turned out to be a red candle. We're actually pretty close to hitting our first adding point, which is this white line, and then the second adding point would be slightly above the recent swing high, and then the target would be this blue line over here. After that, we'd be using a trailing profit method, which essentially means that we move up our stop loss after every single daily candle that forms, precisely 1/16 under that candle. So that's pretty much the game plan for all the trades here that I'm going to be explaining. And then this next one over here that we actually just entered today, we have 11 shares in this one. Same idea. Stop loss right here, this red line. First adding point right here, second adding point at the recent swing high, and then the target being at around this blue line over here. So you might be wondering at this point, what am I looking for exactly when I trade these stocks? And then maybe another question you may be asking is, how exactly am I getting these stop losses, these adding points, and then the targets? So aside from just giving you guys an update on the trades that I'm currently in, I'm going to do a quick rundown here on exactly what I'm looking for when I trade these setups, and also how I calculate these levels, the targets, the adding points, and the stop loss, and then also the share size, because obviously that's probably one of the most important parts of there. So to keep things simple and brief, essentially what I'm looking for here is a stock that is trending. So a stock that is in an uptrend, and you could easily identify that or find that out just by looking at the moving averages. Are the moving averages pointing upward? Are they fanging properly? This probably isn't the best example, but even in this case, you could obviously tell that the moving averages are clearly pointing upward, except for maybe this. I think this is the, let's see here what we're dealing with here. So we have the 100 as the blue, and then the purple one is in fact the 200. So yeah, the 200 might be a little too much to take note of. The real important ones are the 20 and the 50 when it comes to the system here that I'm working with. So yeah, I digress a little bit, but essentially what I'm looking for here, let's actually take a look at this other position that I'm currently in right now. It looks a lot better, and it's just way more prominent than the other example here that I was showing you guys. So we have the 20 moving average here, the 50, and then I believe this is the 100, and then the 200 moving average here. And all of them are clearly just pointing upward. All of them are fanging properly, and obviously this is a clear uptrend here. And I do use FinViz here to actually search for specific sectors that are performing exceptionally well in the month here. So if we look down here, I only focus on the monthly performance here. So for this month, we have basic materials, healthcare, and consumer cyclical, which I have no idea what that is, but what I do with that information is I come over here to the screeners. I already have a preset ready, so I just need to click on that, and feel free to copy it if you guys like. So all these little filters are the criteria that I use to search and screen for these stock shares. So the only thing that does change is this. So we already know that wait, I actually forgot what it was. What was it again? Right, so basic materials. So there you go. Let's go back over here. We already know that basic materials is the top performer. So we just click on basic materials, look at the charts here, and almost all of them will be in some form of an uptrend. But obviously the ones that are more identical to this one right here is pretty much what I'm looking for. So anything that looks like this is obviously in a clear uptrend. So that's number one. There you have the trend. Number two is going to be a slight pullback into one of the moving averages, and if we zoom in here, you'll see that we did actually get a really nice pullback here. It doesn't necessarily need to touch any of the moving averages as long as it pulls back to it a fair amount. I mean, we had 3 bars pull back to it, and that's number 2 right there, the pullback. Number 3 is the confirmation. The way I confirm that the price likely is going to continue is by simply waiting for a reversal bar. A reversal bar could be a hammer candle, a doji candle, any form of a reversal bar. There's also narrow range bars, so bars that are kind of like small range, like this one right here would be an example of a narrow range bar. We have a doji candle right here. There's a whole list of reversal bars that exist. I mainly try to focus on a couple of them, like the hammer candle, the doji candle, and if the candle is green, that's a lot better. There's some examples here from yesterday that we had a hammer candle here, but it was a red candle, so I kind of avoided it a little bit since we did have this other potential one that actually formed a green candle, so I decided to take this one instead. But looking back at it, obviously it was a mistake. But again, from a technical perspective, this one is technically the right choice when you're confronted, or when you have to choose between this one and this other one right here. You should always be choosing the one that has the green bar. Entering on the green bar is by far going to be the most probable setup when it comes to going long. So yeah, this one I think had like a 5% move today, so definitely a good move right here. But going back to the strategy here, that's essentially what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a nice uptrend, a pullback into the moving averages, and then a confirmation candle in the form of a reversal bar, kind of signifying, kind of telling us that the price will likely move up higher and potentially even make a new higher high. So that's the quick summary of the setup right there. Next thing that some of you guys might be wondering is how exactly am I finding the adding points, the targets, the share size, and lastly the stop loss. So how am I doing that? Well, it's a very simple thing. If we go back here to my Discord, which I recommend you join, I have the complete strategy breakdown here for all you guys that are interested. As a matter of fact, you don't have to join, just take this right now if you feel like it. The whole point of this channel is to give good information out there, and if I can help some of you guys out for free, then why not, you know? So yeah, this is pretty much the whole breakdown of the strategy here. The whole foundation of the strategy is mainly based on ATR, so average true range. If you're not familiar with what that is, it doesn't take a lot of research, so I suggest you just go search it up and you'll easily find probably a better answer than I could give you right now. But it's essentially what you expect a stock to move at any given day. So for example, if we take a look at, let's click on any of these right here, ALM. So ALM is currently at $18 right now. And the ATR, you could easily find it down here. You'll see that it has a 1.25. So that means that this stock on average moves 1.25. That's pretty much what the ATR is. And I use that ATR to calculate my, for example, right here, if we zoom in, stop loss. So the stop loss, you just have to subtract 1 times the ATR, and whatever number you get right there is the number that you subtract from the current price, which if we're looking at this chart, well, it's going to be 18. So that's essentially the basis of the risk management plan. So we use that to calculate the target as well. It's just 2 times ATR. And then also when it comes to adding, the first add is 0.75 ATR, and then the second adding is 1.25 ATR. So that's very simple right there. Again, if you want a deeper dive, I do have the description here for the whole strategy, so feel free to join. I also do send out a watch list every single day, although it's not every day that I send out a watch list. There is some days where I simply don't have anything. As a matter of fact, there are some weeks where I have literally nothing, like this, for example. So don't expect to be trading the setup every single day. That's just simply not realistic, and you probably wouldn't even want to be doing that in the first place. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now. That's essentially the whole system. So with that in mind right there, obviously I don't do the calculations. That's why I use ChatGPT here, or Grok. Grok is actually the one that I use, but I do know that ChatGPT is pretty familiar out there. And essentially what I did, or what you could do, as my dog is barking back there, is take a screenshot of this and plug it into your chatbot, Grok, ChatGPT, whatever you want to call it, and kind of explain to it how the strategy works and what you expect to get from it. For example, if we look up here, you'll see that I have an example of what I do every single day. Essentially is I send out, this is literally all the details that I need to send out to the chatbot for it to give me a whole plan over here in the bottom. My account balance, the open of the reversal candle, and the close of the reversal candle, plus the ATR. Again, that's the most important part, the ATR right there. And once I send that out, it just gives me back a whole trading plan for me here. So it gives me the stop loss, the risk per share, how many shares I need to be buying, because obviously that's the most important. Dollar risk, the initial target, which is again 2 times the ATR, and then the adding scenario, which is right here. And then even after you add, it does tell you to move up your stop loss, essentially to break even once you do make the first add. And then again, the second adding scenario right here, which again requires you to move up your stop loss yet again to the first adding price. So that's the basis, crash course right there of my strategy right there for you guys. And if that's not enough, again, just feel free to join the Discord. If you have any questions, any comments, even any advice, go ahead and drop it down below. But that's going to be the update for the week right here. Hopefully this stock RVMD does continue to move up higher tomorrow. Unfortunately, it was a red candle today, but even then we weren't even that deep in the red. We're just 0.25% in the red, so we're still essentially at break even right now. So hopefully it does continue to move up higher. And then as of the brand new trade that we took today, as a matter of fact, I was actually looking at this right now, and it's actually a trade that's going to have earnings tomorrow. So I'm a little bit curious and cautious at the same time. I mean, at this point, I didn't even know that, that they were going to report earnings. If I did know, I probably wouldn't even have taken the trade. But now that I'm in it, well, I can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to remain curious and hope for the best. I do have my stop loss set in place, my adding point set in place, and then my target as well. So hopefully everything goes good. And as of right now, here's a spreadsheet. We do have 5 current trades so far in the month of August, 2 current open trades, and at this point, let's just hope for the best. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I do upload a video, continue the streak at least for the whole week. That's pretty much it, you guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully, and stay focused.